Sweet taste of tangerines, big line in grocery store, Soviet champagne, yes, Soviets even had their own synthetic champagne, which is still selling online by the way, Olivier salad, that made from the cheapest products and ingredients, and the same movies on the television about the man getting drunk and going to sleep to someone else's place, the traditions of overeating after midnight and staying awake until morning, why do we still do it, and why New Year Eve from December 31st to January 1st, the main holiday of the year in the post-Soviet space. Hi guys, how are you doing? We are in different situations here because you see that background is slightly different. I did some movements of the fueling chair in my room where I'm working and recording, so tell me in the comments below if it feels better than in previous videos and if such lights also feels better and I guess more professional. I hope so, guys. So dive into the video. You know, when December rolls in, many Ukrainians are trying to be prepared for future Christmas celebration. Some of us are waiting for Advent weeks and maybe do nativity fasting and go to the church, of course, reading Bible more often and actually fast not with food but also in their minds. Yes, and some people who are consider themselves to be more circular person, they are trying to figure out what gifts they will give to their loved ones and how they will decorate their houses. By the way, I have not decorated anything yet, so I need to be more into this Christmas celebration. Yeah. But guys, believe me or not, only a decade ago, even before the war on the Donbass, things were completely different because the main holiday of the year for all Ukrainians was New Year and we were looking forward it whole year. Ukrainians were partying till the 5 a.m. all night long. And you know, Christmas that was at the 7th of January according to the old calendar was like an addendum to the New Year. And even St. Nicholas Day, where St. Nicholas as a Santa Claus figure brought the presents to the children under the pillow, was just a side gig before we're waiting on the main party, New Year, and people were giving presents actually to each other and to loved ones on New Year. I have been to the volunteer center. I'm doing it every Saturday on Saturdays. Yes, if you're willing to volunteer, for example, do come on netting, please go to the description of this video and you will see information how to volunteer in Lviv by waving nets, if you are in Lviv, of course. So, I have seen my friend Carrie in the volunteer center, finally, because I missed her so much while I was in Kamytske. So, and I asked her, do you remember when you were in the East? She was a teacher in the East, teacher of English. Do you remember New Year celebrations? She said, oh yes, I do remember it. Ukrainians were crazy. They gone wild. They decorated their apartments for New Year and stay up all night. She said no way she could do the same thing, like staying up all night. And guys, in Kamytske, when I was a little kid, I was extremely surprised when my teacher English at school told that the main holiday of the year worldwide is Christmas and they actually have a Christmas tree. But we, like former Soviet republics, we were having New Year tree. So all West had a Santa Claus and his elves, and we had the Ded Moroz in Russian, and his granddaughter Snegurochka or Snow Maiden. So guys, by watching Home Alone when I was a kid for the first time, guys, it was a banger at that time in the 90s. I was wondering, who are these guys like Santa Claus who are sledging with Coca-Cola, elves, why they are celebrating Christmas so much and why we are not celebrated, why we celebrate New Year? Of course, in my tiny head at that time there was no any thought that Jesus is the reason of the season. Why is that? And who is Ded Moroz and his granddaughter Snow Maiden? So, I have only one answer for you guys, and this is Soviet. Guys, during the Soviet Revolution and after, Christmas was no-go. They were prohibited all the celebration that were connected with religion. As you may know from the previous videos, and if you are checking another YouTube videos, you probably know that Ukrainians had a very rich Christmas traditions and celebrations. We were cooking 12 dishes, we were cooking kutia, we went caroling, and it calls vertep. Everything was in our history and culture, but Soviets came and actually cancelled everything because they were saying religious is the opium for people. Yeah, so, but however, people were celebrating secretly. Non-restrictions, non-oppressions, and even jailing were not influence on them. People were still waiting for the meeting with their savior and were prepared for his birthday. Yes, so Stalin were fighting with these traditions but could not overcome them. And he decided just to redo it, rework, and be in charge of the celebration to turn it into the Soviet benefit. So how they did it? So Stalin asked his fellow Pavlo Postyshev, who was orchestrator of Holodomor on Ukrainian lands, the Great Famine, yes, because he was in charge of Soviet Ukrainian Republic at that time, just to reshape and rework Ukrainian tradition into the Soviet traditions, because Stalin wanted all the conquered nations to be a one nation, Soviet nation. There were no Belarusian people, Ukrainian people, or Russians, or any other conquered region in Russia. They were all Soviet people. So they decided to remake Saint Nicholas to the Ded Moroz, to Father Frost, Ded Moroz, yes, and the Christmas into the New Year. And in 1935, Pavlo Postyshev wrote the article in the propaganda magazine that let's do the good New Year tree for the children. And they actually claimed it as an affordable and accessible New Year tree, because in Tsar times the tree was connected with bourgeois traditions and rich people. But if we are proletaries, you know, this Soviet tree, New Year tree, needs to be inclusive. They cancelled the Viphleem star on the top of the tree and put their own red star, the symbol of October Revolution. The first celebration for children were in the houses of Soviet culture, so-called. And the first time Ded Moroz or Ded Moroz, Father Frost, appeared alone. However, Soviets quickly realized that all citizens are bringing their children into these houses of culture just to have a glimpse of holidays for them, because everyone were very poor and there was no much to attend and not much entertainment in the Soviet Union. So all the parents brought their children. They decided to create a helper for the Father Frost, like a lady, his granddaughter Snegurochka or Snow Maiden, so they can handle all the children together, like 2 people is better than 1. Guys, thank you for being such an amazing part of this community and stick to this channel that is dedicated to telling the stories of ordinary people living amidst the war. And your support brings this powerful narrative to light. Please put thumbs up to this video and write a comment to give the algorithm the idea that we are existing here in the YouTube. And of course, my deep appreciation to everyone who supports this YouTube channel in my Buy Me a Coffee page and who are the part of my Buy Me a Coffee community. Guys, you will soon receive my personal vlog. I'm preparing it. Please stay tuned in the end of the month, guys. So, in case you want to join us, please proceed to description of this video and find links to Buy Me a Coffee page. Thank you and God be with you. The prototype and characters to create Ded Moroz and Snow Maiden they took from the old fairy tale Morozko, where a young girl went into the forest to find the wood for firewood to heat the stove, and she was lost and found the house of the winter spirit, Moroz, and he decided to kill her. But She was a good servant for him. She cleaned the house, she cooked dishes and dinner and breakfast for him, and she did all the chore about the house. And Moroz decided to reward this girl and let her go home. So, that is the prototype of Snow Maiden and Father Frost. So guys, during such mass celebration, of course, there were a bunch of propaganda. They hung portraits of Soviet leaders on the walls, and also they put ornaments on the tree with the Soviet symbols, and even they had a round circular toys with the portraits of Stalin and Lenin, and they were hanging it on the tree. But later they refused these traditions, because if you are hanging on the tree the leader of the proletariat, it was not great, guys. Yeah, so, and they were explaining this like a care for children, that we are doing holidays for children. It was very funny, because this celebration took place in 1930s, in the middle of the great Stalin purge. So guys, unfortunately, only this type of the celebration for winter holidays were allowed in Soviet time, like distorted one. If people were trying to celebrate Christmas traditionally, were trying to gather in the house, decorate the Christmas tree, go to church and, fast and prepare traditional Ukrainian dishes, or go caroling, God forbid, they could be extremely punished. They can be jailed and accused in violation of Soviet moral rules, and they can be confronted on their workplace, and it was very severe, because if you were confronted, you were fired and you were not able to find another employment. And when I prepared this material for you, I was amazed how Ukrainian traditions for Christmas actually survived such oppressions and restrictions. And now I'm extremely grateful that we are able to celebrate Ukrainian Christmas like it was before the Soviets. So this year, thanks to our defenders that are protecting us on the front line and do not let Russians to invade other peaceful Ukrainian city, I will be able to celebrate Christmas only thanks to defenders, and I will do traditional Ukrainian kutya, and I will do separate video about it. Please tell me in the comments if you are interested to see how kutya is cooked actually, and will you cook it just to try. Guys, thank you for sticking till the end of this video. It was all for today. And I just wanted to say that celebrating the Christmas, let's not forget the brave individuals and heroes who are unable to celebrate this year, because they gave their lives for Ukrainian sovereignty. Their sacrifices are not in vain, and we are deeply appreciated here. We are civilians on the home front, it's honoring them and doing our best to help and commemorate them. Guys, please remember about these people in your daily prayers. Thank you, and God be with you.